Rize Sentai Kizunager, Bond 24, The Black Ranger and the Wolf Princess, Souji Tegan, Kizuna Black, began to attack Wizard Soul for making him suffer with his dark bond energy while the Kizunagers, Logi, Rainaya, Azra, and Yadra, are trying to restrain Princess Teltina, Kizuna Rize as the Werewolf Demi-Human, from attacking any more people of the Demi-Human Federation. Togo Asagaki, Kizuna Red, and Tenrei Nikaido, Kizuna Silver, are piloting their Kizuna beasts to face against the Ender Wolf, the Wolf Kizuna Slayer, who is being piloted by the Hyoketsu Bondki, Grossa, as they managed to weaken the Ender Wolf a bit to face against the Hyoketsu Bondki on the ground to free Grossa from her dark bonds until they witnessed G performing the dark pile bond dunker to knock down the Kizunagers and the Bansouenders at once out of rage, which scares Teltina away from the scene, which led to G to leave the Demi-Human Federation as well to go after her. A few moments later, Yadra explains to Togo and the other Kizunagers that Teltina's mutation hasn't completely evolved yet despite becoming an actual demi-human now, but she believes that there's still a chance to revert her mutation before it is too late. But Togo asks Yadra about how come Souji can ignite his dark bond energy again after being cleansed, which drove him to become more powerful than before. Yadra believes that since Souji was the first person to transform into the Bondki monster by the Bansouenders, his passion and dream to become #1 acts like a beacon for his dark bonds to be reignited again after being cleansed. This made the Kizunagers shocked to find out about Souji being the first person to have everlasting dark bonds that won't go away so easily, especially if his dream is the cause of it. Meanwhile, in the middle of the woods, Souji manages to track Teltina down as he spotted her groaning in panic as she pukes on the ground, which made her vomit to act like fertilizer to create a special kind of tree known as the Demi tree, containing several mana seeds looking for a host to grant their wishes as Teltina began to fall asleep to keep guard of the Demi tree from intruders. This made Souji curious about Teltina creating a special kind of tree from her demi-human powers as he quietly sneaks behind her to retrieve one mana seed to see how it works, but then he lands to the ground a bit loudly, which woke Teltina up and began to attack Souji without any hesitation. When Souji doesn't want his dark bonds corrupting him again to force him to kill Teltina out of spite as he is getting brutally beaten up, he looks down on the mana seed and demands to grant him his wish to become the #1 corrupted hero to control his dark bonds as he begins to swallow the entire mana seed and feels its power following through his blood. So now Souji charges at Teltina to finally put an end to her reign of terror for good as his dark bond energy begins to cleanse Teltina from her mutation, which reverts her back to normal. As Teltina wakes up from the ground and noticed that Souji used the mana seed to restore her humanity and also gain control of his dark bonds, Togo and the other Kizunagers arrived at the scene to find Souji and Teltina together as they were relieved that they are okay and maintain control of themselves. Yadra explains to the Kizunagers that Souji used the mana seed to cleanse the darkness of his dark bond energy, which grants him the ability to cleanse any form of darkness corrupting any living being. So now Togo is happy that Souji finally gained control of his dark bonds and thanks him for cleansing Teltina from her mutation as they witness the Bansouenders making their way to Avalost City to cause chaos and destruction. A few moments later, Wizard Soul and the Hyoketsu Bondki are leading a group of Ngakons and the Ender Wolf to attack the people around the kingdom until Togo and his friend showed up to put an end to their evil schemes as they pull out their bond plates and inserts them into their Kizuna braces to transform into the Kizunagers: red, black, silver, night, gold, orange, Rize, and Magus, to take down the Bansouenders to save the people of Avalost City. While the other Kizunagers are dealing with Wizard Soul and the Ngakons to protect the villagers from harm's way, Togo inserts the Zenkaiger Legend Bond Plate into his Kizuna brace to allow him, Teltina, and Souji to perform the Zenkai Finish Buster, Caesar Ankoku Jabakugeki, and Twokaizer Gold Scramble to finally defeat the Hyoketsu Bondki for good. But then Wizard Soul ignites the bonded ki again to allow the Hyoketsu bond ki to grow gigantic to crush the Kizunagers alongside the Ender Wolf. Just then, Souji and Teltina began to approach the Ender Wolf without any hesitation as they howled as loud as they could to get the Ender Wolf's attention to give him the opportunity to tame it. So now Souji used the Monoseed's power to cleanse all of the dark bond energy out of the Ender Wolf as it became a new Kizuna beast known as the Wolf Demi-Human for Souji to pilot to help the Kizunagers take down the Hyoketsu bond ki once and for all. When Togo and the other Kizunagers summoned their Kizuna beasts to form the elemental Kizuna Master to face against the Hyoketsu bond ki, Souji combines the Wolf Demi-Human with the Kizuna Master to form the elemental Kizuna Master, Redemption Custom Rize, to give the Kizunagers some extra firepower to weaken the Hyoketsu bond ki a bit as they perform the elemental Kizuna Redemption Revolver Phantom to finally defeat the Hyoketsu bond ki for good to free Grossa from her dark bond energy, and Souji retrieves the Gelato 5 bonded ki as it transforms into the Gelato 5 Legend Bond Plate. Back at the Demi-Human Federation, Souji hands over his Kizuna Beast Plate to Teltina to allow her to call upon the Wolf Demi-Human for some extra help in the Kizunagers' battle against the Bansouenders since he plans to return back home to Akalina to protect his people since he isn't ready to be part of a team yet after everything that he has done in the past. But Teltina can understand Souji's struggle and tells him that there's no need to rush things and they'll be here when his time is right to fight alongside them. This made Souji happy that the Kizunagers have accepted him as part of the team as he bids farewell to them to continue his duties as the #1 corrupted hero to cleanse the people's dark bond energy within them as the Kizunagers return back home after a long day of fighting. But they weren't aware that a rainbow-like ranger was spying on them from a distance as he explains to himself that the Kizunagers have cleansed 2 of the guardian Kizuna beasts from their dark bonds, but there's only one still remaining in the bonded king's hands as he teleports away from the scene.